guys, welcome back. Today we finally get to make the Vroom Buying experience video. I definitely didn't think it was going to take 2 months for me to make this video, but we're going to go through the horror story that is buying from Vroom and returning a car to Vroom all in the same transaction. So we'll dive into many items on why you should not buy a car from Vroom or Carvana for that matter, any of those online only dealerships. It's just not worth the headache or the hassle. So I have a whole folder of email communications because it's almost impossible to talk to somebody from Vroom on the phone after you do the initial purchase. They'll talk to you all day long when you're actually buying the car, and then after that, nothing unless you do email. So we learned that communication is not good. As you can see here, on July 30th is when I initially started the purchase. It is now October 7th today when I'm making this video. So sent the money over with a wire transfer from my credit union. That's how I ended up financing. So I didn't even have to deal with Vroom financing. So that could be a whole nother headache if you have to do that. So I already wired the money to them. Within 3 days, we had the purchase all complete. Then they give you a time frame of about 14 days to expect the car to be delivered. After that initial purchase, it's radio silence. I didn't get any communication whatsoever. And basically after day 15, I hadn't heard anything. I'm actually on the way out of town. I give them a call just to see what the status is on this, and they said they had no updates. They had to call the logistics team. So an hour later, I get a call from a shipping company, and they said, yeah, your car is going to be delivered in 2 hours. No one ever contacted me about a delivery at all, and I'm now out of town. So I had to contact a relative while I'm on the road and see if they could meet him at my house to take delivery. So they were able to take delivery for me. So that was the first signs of issues, was the no communication and then all of a sudden showing up. So I'm like, okay, we can overlook that snafu there. The car's at my house. I get home. I'm excited. It's an Avalanche Gray GT350, and you get excited when the new vehicle or car arrives. So just looking over the car initially, here I'll show you guys a photo. There it is. Initially taking a look cosmetically, everything seems to be decent. There's a couple scratches that they didn't call out, but nothing major. So I was good with that. I was like, okay, good. So then driving the vehicle. So initially when you drive the vehicle, you're all excited, and especially hearing that flat plane crank Voodoo engine, it's just, it's pretty epic. So you're not looking for all the signs of issues when you first drive the car. After a day or two, I noticed that between 2500 and 3500 RPM, you'd hear this kind of annoying noise. It just didn't sound right. It was kind of like a rattling noise, kind of something like that, coming from the engine, obviously. And it wasn't a normal noise. So at that point, I'm like, this is a high-performance engine. The Voodoo engine already has known issues from Ford, and I don't have a warranty on this car. So I start to think about the 7-day, 250-mile return window that Vroom offers you. I continue to drive the car for another 6, or let's see, so that I noticed that on day 2. So it was another 5 days that I drove the car. I got close to that 250-mile limit. I was probably at like 230 miles. Didn't want to go over the mileage. So on the 7th day, I called Vroom, and I just decided that I didn't want to deal with the potential engine issues. So I was like, I'd like to return the car. They weren't too happy about me returning the car, but they said, okay, we'll get the process started, and we'll get somebody out within 14 days to pick up the car. So I wait a like a week or two. I haven't heard any information whatsoever about the pickup. You can't contact anybody via phone. They never answer the phone. I'll put the return phone number up on the screen here that you can attempt to call. But more than likely, all you'll get is a voicemail. And if you do leave a voicemail, they will never call you back. So the only 2 times I was able to get through on that number was when I called around 9 a.m. Central Time. I was able to get in right when they opened, and I got a call or an answer. Unfortunately, when you speak to somebody from the returns department, they don't have any answers. They just have to pass you off to the logistics team. I think it's called RPM with Vroom, and they're the only ones that can help you out now. So they passed me off to them, and I could never talk to any of them through phone. It was only email. So I've got like a string of like 13 emails back and forth about picking up the car for the return. I initiated the let's see where when we initiated. So the 30th is when I initiated the return, and I did not have someone out to pick up the car until September 19th. But the September 19th did not work out, and here's the story on that. We actually had the guy come out on a Sunday. He pulls up to the house with a rented U-Haul trailer hooked up to his truck. So immediately I'm like, this is a GT350. It has a very low front end with the splitter, and there's no way that it's going on that U-Haul trailer without a lot of help. I grab a tape measure immediately because I could tell the front of the trailer, the front bumper wasn't going to fit over. And it's like 5-inch clearance on the Mustang from the ground to the bumper, and it was like 7 inches to go over the top of the front of this trailer. So I was like, that's not going to work. So I want this car gone. I want it to be out of my driveway. I want my money back. So I'm helping this guy. I shouldn't have had to do all this, but I'm helping this guy try to get this car on this U-Haul trailer. I cut a couple of boards to raise up. We put them where the front tires would go, so that would raise the front bumper up just enough to get over the front of that trailer. So I had that in place, and then I even had to give him some wood ramps because the approach angle was never going to work to get up just started on the trailer. So did all that. I'm like, okay, you get in, I will direct you or guide you onto the trailer. That's when things went completely south. I asked the guy, or he says, how do you start the car? I said, you push the red button. He's like, it doesn't work. I'm like, it's a manual transmission. Do you know how to drive a manual transmission? He shakes his head, yes. And I said, do you know what a clutch is? As I'm looking through, and his feet are nowhere close to the clutch. He has no clue at this point of even how to drive a manual transmission or start the car. So I'm like, we're done. You're not taking this car. You're not going to be shipping it. Usually it won't fit on a U-Haul trailer without special ramps. They call them low profile or racing ramps or something. And then also you're also gonna have.
Maybe you can put the back one.
So it's not the front of this trailer. I don't think that's going to work, my friend.
Maybe you can try, right?
I don't want to try and break it. Let's get the measuring tape out. That makes it high enough. Hey, bud. Your driver doesn't even know how to drive a manual transmission, so this isn't gonna work. Yeah, this is a special high-performance car with a 6-speed manual transmission. He doesn't even know how to start the car. He doesn't even know what a clutch is. So you can cancel this, and if you got another driver that has a better trailer and knows what's going on, you can send him. Otherwise, I'll just talk to Vroom tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Bye. So that was a waste of about an hour and a half. Finding out, I didn't realize that I had to ask a person that's shipping a car if they know how to drive a manual transmission, but now I guess when someone's delivering my cars or picking up a car, I'll have to ask that. So not excited at all after waiting like 20 days for the return pickup, and then can't even return it. So then I have to go back, send more emails to this Vroom Ops RPM team, and they finally got someone to come out 4 days later on September 22nd. On September 22nd, that person contacted me, said they'd be out between whatever, I think it was 12 and 2 or something like that. Anyway, they show up. They have a better trailer that fits like 3 cars. I think I have a picture of that going on the trailer. Oh, there it is. So yeah, he actually knew how to drive a manual transmission, so we're doing better to start. Had a better trailer. He still did not come prepared for loading a low car. It was definitely not going on his trailer without some help, so those wood boards that I had for the previous shipper, we utilized those, and he even asked to keep them because how else was he going to get the car off when he made it to where it needed to go? So at that point, I'm just like, take the boards, get the car out of here, I'm done. So I wanted the car to be gone. They finally got the car out of there. So that was the battle of returning the car. The next battle is getting my refund. So I had to battle with everything with this process. That's why you should don't buy a car from Vroom. Don't do it. That's why you're watching this video right now. So customer service, you're supposed to send an email once they pick up the car with a picture of the bill of lading saying they picked it up. And then they also need all of your banking information for the payoff. They keep saying they need the payoff amount, which to me sounds okay if this was like maybe a trade-in or something, whatever. This is just a full-out return. So you would think, okay, I paid $56,000 for this car. You give me $56,000 back. They kept saying, send me the payoff. So with the credit union, I put a down payment in with my credit union, so the amount financed was way less than the amount of the vehicle. So I went rounds for 6 days trying to tell them they owe me $56,000, not the amount of payoff from my bank. In the end, I ended up just giving up. I actually sent off a new payoff email that I modified myself, saying the full amount, the $56,000, was the payoff, and all the bank information, where to send the check. And then, as you can see with these emails here, I'll show you. So just email after email after email. They won't call you either. All this could have been hashed out within a few minutes if someone would just call me instead of going back and forth on these stupid emails. But yeah, basically they sent the approval in for the $56,000 after battling with them for many days. So on the 28th, right here you can see, on the 28th, they put in the payoff request and said it would take 2 to 3 days. I'm like, okay, maybe we're finally getting somewhere. And then I figured that they would give me an email back or some kind of tracking number saying that they actually did send the check. Once again, no communication. I sent many emails, 3 emails. Finally, I get an email on October 5th. He confirmed that the check was sent out on Monday the 4th. So I'm like, okay, hopefully we're finally getting somewhere. On the 4th, would have been a Monday. He emails me the 5th. So I'm like, I'm just going to log into my credit union. This was on the 6th of October. So I actually log into my credit union, and I'm like completely surprised that the loan is actually paid off. They got the check, paid off my loan. I have my down payment back in my account. I'm like, oh my god. The only thing left was I hadn't received a $500 refund to my credit card for the initial deposit I put down. So I emailed them. Let's see, it was at 10:49 on the 6th for my $500 refund, and by 11:45 I actually had that refund for my credit card there. And I was like, that was the easiest thing of the whole thing. It took 45 minutes, credit card refunded. I am done with the whole Vroom nightmare. So yeah, it was a long battle. 2 months. 2 months of fighting and waiting, and it is not worth it at all. I don't know anybody who has patience to want to deal with that, and there's many other horror stories. I did find this Facebook group called Vroom Horror Stories, so go check that out. I'll put a link in the description. I wish I would have found that group before July 30th. But now every day there's a different story on that group, and it's anywhere from getting a car and it's complete, like the engine is completely blown, to not receiving their car. One of the big ones is never getting license plates or registration titles. Some people have been waiting 6 months to a year and still don't have plates or titles. It's just, there's so many issues. So if you go read that horror stories group, you will definitely, if you still buy a car from Vroom after that, I don't know what's wrong with you. But anyway, thanks for tuning in to this, guys. I never would have guessed it would have taken me 2 months to make my Vroom buying video. And I actually had hoped that it would have been a good video saying, yeah, I bought this car, got it in 2 weeks, it's awesome, and yeah, I can start buying my cars from online only dealerships. But never again. Learned the hard way. But if this helped you in any way make a decision about buying a car from Vroom, give it a thumbs up, and stay tuned for our next purchase. We get to go shopping again, but I'm not sure if we'll get anything in the fall or if we'll wait till the spring. But stay tuned, guys. Have a good one.